Don't miss the tea. Subscribe now.
Girl, pour the wine. No, the big glass. You are not going to believe the week I have had, and honestly, I think I'm finally done. I think I've hit the wall. You know I've been trying. God, you know better than anyone how hard I've been trying with him. But I look at the calendar, and I see my 40th birthday barreling toward me like a freight train in 6 weeks, and I can't do it. I cannot enter my 40s babysitting a grown man's emotions. Let me back up, because if I don't spill this all out from the beginning, I'm going to explode. You know the history. You know we aren't just some random Tinder match. We have history. We dated back in college, and even though we broke up because we were young and stupid and wanted different things, we stayed best friends. Literally best friends for years. That bond was sacred to me. So when I moved back home a few years ago and we decided to give it another real shot, it felt like fate, right? Joke S on me. The timing wasn't fate, it was a curse. He had just quit a job he loathed to find himself, and literally 5 minutes later, the tech market crashed and I got laid off. So there we were, two unemployed disasters deciding to start a high-stakes relationship. We committed, and I thought that love would carry us through. Fast forward 3 years. Girl, he is still unemployed. 2 years. Meanwhile, I've been hustling my ass off constantly looking for full-time work. The dynamic is so twisted now. I can tell that me working while he isn't makes him feel like garbage. He feels like he's falling behind in life, and instead of that motivating him, it just paralyses him. And guess who has to absorb all that negative energy? Me. But the unemployment isn't even the main thing. If he was broke but emotionally stable, I could handle it. I can do broke. I can't do whatever this is. He calls himself a highly sensitive person, an HSP, and a people pleaser. And at first I thought, okay, sweet, he's in touch with his feelings. No, it is so much darker than that. I didn't realize how intense it was until we were deep in the weeds. We've talked about boundaries, right? I've encouraged him to work on them. But in the process, everything has turned onto me and my behavior. He's obsessed with my tone. I'm not yelling at him. I'm not calling him names. I'm just talking. But if my voice has any inflection of stress or annoyance or just plain exhaustion, which hello I am allowed to feel, he crumbles. I'm serious. I'm learning that my tone changes when I have emotions, which is a normal human biological function. But I've tried to control it. I've tried to police my own voice to keep him calm. But I can't do it 100% of the time because I am not a robot. And even when I do moderate myself, he still gets triggered. He reads into silences. He reads into sighs. So what happens? I end up walking on literal eggshells in my own relationship. I either bottle everything up and act like a Stepford wife, or I speak my mind and trigger a meltdown. If he's already stressed, which is always, a tiny misunderstanding turns into World War III. Here's the pettiest part that drives me the craziest: the clutter. He doesn't live with me, thank God, but when he comes over, if my place isn't perfectly orderly, he gets visibly twitchy. He relies on external regulation. He needs the world to be perfect so he can feel okay. If my apartment is messy, he feels on edge. He'll offer to help declutter, but then he'll start organizing a drawer and have a meltdown halfway through because the task is too overwhelming. Can you imagine? He comes over to help me, and I end up having to comfort him because my junk drawer gave him a panic attack. It is exhausting. And because he's broke, he had to move back in with his family. Disaster. He just recently sublet a place for a few months to get some space, and I prayed. I literally prayed that having his own 4 walls would fix this. It hasn't. He's been in therapy for 2 years. 2 years. And I swear to you, he is worse. It's like therapy just gave him new vocabulary to weaponize against me. We even went to couples therapy for a hot minute. The therapist gave him actual tools to manage his triggers so he wouldn't dump them all on me. But then he went on a backpacking trip to reset, came back, and spiraled into a depression. Every single tool went out the window. I'm in therapy too, obviously, to deal with him. My therapist flat out told me, "Your tone isn't the issue. You're just allowing emotion to come through, and that is not a crime." I've tried everything. Nonviolent communication, Gottman method. Statements. None of it works when he's having an off day, which is every week. So here is where it all fell apart. We went away recently, a week-long getaway to reconnect. Girl. We got into a fight almost immediately. I snapped and told him, I am not letting you ruin this trip. You need to regulate yourself right now or you can go home. The rest of the trip I just disassociated. I spent the entire vacation scanning the horizon for his triggers. That's not a vacation. That's bomb disposal duty. We got back home and I was drained. And then the stupidest thing happened. I was zoning out in front of the TV to decompress. Apparently he asked me to mute it. I didn't hear him. When I didn't react, he got angry. When I snapped out of it, I apologized immediately. I said, I'm so sorry, I totally zoned out. But it didn't matter. He lectured me about how inconsiderate I am. My apology bounced off his anger. It turned into a massive, screaming blow-up over a mute button. He stormed out. He left. And I sat there in the silence and I realized, I am turning 40 in 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Do I want this for the next 10 years? Do I want to be 50 and still explaining to a grown man that my sigh wasn't a personal attack? Do I want to be the sole breadwinner and the sole emotional regulator in a relationship? I don't. I really, really don't. It kills me because I know if I end this, I lose him completely. He's not the type to stay friends with an ex. I'm losing my partner and my best friend. And it hurts because I can see he's trying. He wants to be better, but he's just emotionally incapable. I suspect he's severely depressed and refusing to treat it medically, and I can't be his doctor anymore. I gave him the ultimatum. I laid it out. I told him, I don't want this kind of relationship anymore. I am done walking on eggshells. I told him we could try therapy one last time, a Hail Mary pass, but I said if things don't improve significantly and quickly, I am done. I also gave him the option to just end it now. I don't want a break. Breaks are just breakups with a waiting period. I gave myself a deadline, my 40th birthday. If we aren't in a radically different place by the time I blow out those candles, he is gone. It just sucks. It sucks so much because when he is regulated, that rare 5% of the time, we are magic. We are that couple everyone is jealous of. But I don't have the bandwidth to regulate life for both of us anymore. I'm empty. Do you think relationships can even recover from this much stress? Like, has anyone ever come back from this level of burnout? Or am I just dragging a corpse across the finish line because I'm afraid to be alone at 40? I feel like I'm mourning him while he's still sitting right there. But God, I am just so tired. Pour me another one, please. I need to figure out how to survive the next 6 weeks.